If you ask anyone where they were on September 11th, 2001, they will be able to tell you about their entire day, start to finish. This is because at 8:46 a.m. Eastern Time, a plane hijacked by 5 terrorists was crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. America was in shambles and could not believe what had occurred. Then, just 17 minutes later, a second plane was crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Everyone on the planes were dead instantly, and now the New York Fire Department had to go on a search and rescue mission for everyone in the 2 buildings. About an hour later, the tower that first got hit collapsed into dust, and about 10 minutes later, the next one followed. The total death toll was 2,752 innocent American citizens, a lot of them, including the brave firefighters that entered the building after the crash to save those trapped on the floors above the impact. We interviewed Niles West Sr., Max Markoff, to recall on what he was doing on September 11th, 2001.
On 9/11, I remember I was sitting on my couch waiting for school to start, and my mom was watching the news in the kitchen, and I looked over to the TV from my living room, and I saw a live clip of what was happening at the Twin Towers. I saw the plane hit the building, and so I walked over to my mom. I said, "Well, Mom, what movie is that? That looks like a good movie." She goes, "It's not a movie. A plane just hit the Twin Towers." And at the time, I didn't know what the Twin Towers were, or what the significance was of those buildings to our country, but I quickly learned. I went to school that day. I was in the 2nd grade, and I remember my teacher, she sat us all down, and we talked about the significance of it and sort of what was going on in our country at the time. And I'll never forget that day as long as I live. And also, as a huge baseball fan, and I'm on the baseball team here at Niles West. Ever since I was young, I watched baseball. I watched SportsCenter, and I always remember how important baseball was to the city of New York. The fact that the Yankees were able to make it to the World Series that year seemed to be really important to them. Although I'm from Chicago, it was almost magical and sensational to see how people were uplifted by this country, or by the performance of the Yankees. And it was very disappointing to see them lose in the World Series on that walk-off hit by Luis Gonzalez. But I just think it just shows how important they are.
The only positive that came from 9/11 is that it unified the United States of America. Patriotism was higher than ever all over the country. Yankee closer Mariano Rivera put it best when he stated, "We go places. They either love you or hate you." This time it was different. This time, everybody was basically almost cheering for us. It was great. It was wonderful, a good feeling. Everybody was optimistic. Everybody was nice. People were holding up signs saying we're all the Yankees, and when not just the United States, but especially New York, had nothing to turn to, they turned to the Bronx Bombers. Overnight, they had become America's team, and it seemed like it would be a great ending to a horrific story if they could somehow win the World Series that year. After games being suspended for a week, play resumed on September 18th, just 2 weeks before the playoffs. The Yankees faced the Oakland A's, featured in Moneyball, in the ALDS. They won the series 3-2. They then had the Seattle Mariners in the ALCS, who had won well over 110 games. They beat them handily 4-1, and all of America was behind New York. They truly believed that this would be the Cinderella story that would be able to bring back America and unite them after the horror of 9/11. They faced the Arizona Diamondbacks in the World Series, and it went to 7 games. Then in Game 7, Luis Gonzalez hit a walk-off home run to clinch it for the Diamondbacks. The Yankees had come so close to reaching their goal, but in the end came up just short. And America's feel-good story was now for the Arizona Diamondbacks, who had upset the big rival Yankees. But the Yankees still contributed a lot to 9/11, and America was proud of their New York team and how far they gone with all the pressure they had on them.